नमः पार्वती पतये गोविंद नाम संकीर्तनम्.
Namaste everyone. Very happy to see you all here. So we'll start with the prayer before chanting Srimad Bhagavatam. Om Shuklam Bharadaram Vishnum Shashivarnam Chadurbhujam Prasannavadanam Dhyayet Sarva Vigno Vashantaye. Gurur Brahma Gurur Vishnu Gurur Devo Maheshwaraha Guru Sakshat Parabrahma Tasmai Sri Guruve Namaha. Guruve Sarva Lokanam Vishaje Bhavaroginam Nideye Sarva Vidyanam Dakshinamurtaye Namaha. தென்னாடுடைய பெரியவா போற்றி எந்நாட்டவர்க்கும் நிறைவா போற்றி சர்வஜா சர்வவியாபி பெரியவா சரணம் மாய பிறப்பருக்கும் மகா பெரியவா அடி போற்றி. ஓம் ஜன்மாத்யஸ்ய யதோ அன்வயாதிதரதச்சார்த்தேஷோபிஜ்ஞः ஸ்வராட் தேனே பிரம்மஹ்ருதாய ஆதிகவயே முஹ்யந்தி யத் சூரயः தேஜோ வாரிமிருதாம் யதா விநிமயோ யத்ர த்ரிசர்கோ மிருஷா दाम्ना स्वेन सदा निरस्तगुहकं सत्यं परं धीमहि मूकं करोति वाचालं पङ्गुं लङ्घयते गिरिं यत्कृपातमहं वन्दे परमानन्दमाधवम्. So in the last session we have seen about the Bhishma Stavam. How Bhima, that's called Bhishma Stavarajam. Like the Bhima attained moksham. In the last session, Bhima attained moksham, and everyone,
Bhishma
attained moksham, and everyone, like God and demigods, everyone are present there. Everybody was present there, and he merged into the ultimate eternity of the Supreme Absolute. So at that time, see, knowing that Bhishmacharya had emerged into the ultimate eternity, both the gods, demigods, all the men and demigods and gods, all, they sounded drums. They sounded drums in honor. And, from the sky fell showers of flowers for Bhishmacharya. Such a great personality is Bhishmacharya. So after Bhishmacharya's moksham and everything, after Kurukshetra war, after this, the great religious king, that is Yudhishthira. Yudhishthira is called Dharmaputra, Maharaja Yudhishthira. He executed the royal power in the kingdom. So he executed the royal power and according to the codes and royal principles, and which were approved by his uncle Dhritarashtra. Dhritarashtra is his uncle. Yudhishthira's uncle is Dhritarashtra. So Dhritarashtra is the father of all the Kauravas. So he is the Periyappa. He is a bigger uncle of all the Pandavas, and so he ruled the kingdom according to the codes and conducts, and which were approved by Dhritarashtra, his uncle Dhritarashtra, and confirmed by Lord Krishna also. Because Krishna is a supreme, isn't it? Supreme soul, and he is a supreme Godhead. So he has to approve it. So as I already said, Kali has got lot of doshams. But there are, lot of good things also, good signs also. Because if somebody wants to, if somebody wants to keep this Bhagavata Saptagam, say this Bhagavata Saptagam, then that thinking itself is punya in Kali. In the same way, if somebody wants to hit somebody wants to, hit somebody, then thinking of that hitting somebody is not a pavam. Is not a pavam. It's not a sin. Actual doing is sin, but not thinking is not a sin. So when you do that, it is a pavam. It's considered as a pavam. When you think something good, then it is a punya. See, this much of relaxation is done here in our Kali Yugam. Most of the Yugams before, actually, when you think itself, it's a pavam. It's considered as a pavam. When you want to hit somebody, when you think like, hitting somebody, then it's a pavam. It's considered as a papam in those yugams. But in Kali Yugam, it's not that. It's a relaxed. So always we have to, at least think good. Think good. That itself will give add lot of, punyam into our account. Now Vyasacharya, Vyasa starts telling about this. Vyasa is the one who is telling about all these things, isn't it? So now he starts telling about this Parikshit's birth. For that, he has to say Mahabharata. So now that he has now told about Bhishmacharya's moksham, now Pandava, Yudhishthira is ruling. So at this time, at that time, there is no sorrow or grief anywhere. When Yudhishthira was ruling, there was no sorrow and grief. At that time, the Shaunakadigal, they were hearing the Mahabharata. So Shaunakadigal, they asked about Parikshit's birth now. How Bhagavan, saved Parikshit in the womb of Uttara from Narayana Astram or Apandava Astram. When Apandava Astram went inside her womb, that is Uttara's womb, she shouted, she screamed Lord's name. She asked, Bhagavan to save her baby, in the womb. So now Vyasa was explaining. That is, he was explaining, oh son of Bhrigu, son of Bhrigu is Shaunaka. So when the child Parikshit, the great fighter, the Parikshit is a great fighter, was in the womb of his mother, Uttara, and was suffering from the tejas, from the burning heat of that Brahmastra or Apandava Astram thrown by Ashwatthama, he could observe the Supreme Lord coming to him. Parikshit can observe the Supreme, Dadarsha Purusham Kanchit, means he could see that Lord, how that Lord looked, Angushta Matram Amalam, means the Lord was only a thumb high, this much, the Lord was only a thumb high, but he was all transcendental. He had a very beautiful, see Krishna, isn't it? Lord Krishna, he had a very beautiful, blackish, infallible body. He wore a dress of lightning yellow, Pitambaram, and the Kritam, crown, crown of blazing gold. So he was seen by the child like this. He was seen by this child in the womb. He became visible. He became visible to his devotee, Parikshit, Maharaja Parikshit. He is going to become Maharaja now. So he was visible to this Parikshit, even in that awkward position. That is in the womb of his mother, so in a shape just suitable, for his vision. So he has to come like that. So the Lord was enriched with 4 hands. So he has come with 4 hands with his Makara Kundalam, earrings of molten gold. But his eyes, see, everything was good, everything was beautiful, but his eyes, his eyes was blood red in color with fury, because, so many things have happened to the devotees. So he was very fury, angry. Lord was angry. He is showing his angerness, in his eyes. So his eyes was red. So, and he was, as he loiter about his club, he is having the gadai, club is gadai, constantly encircling him like a shooting star. So the Lord was engaged in vanquishing the radiation of the Astram, that is Apandava Astram, just like sun evaporates the dew drops, he was vanquishing like that, the tejas of the Astram. So he was observed like that. Parikshit observed, he was observed by the child. The Parikshit, he was observing, he was seeing the Lord like that. Even in the womb of Uttara, he could see that Lord was, here to protect us. So while thus observing, by the child, the Supreme Personality, the Lord, the super soul of everyone, and the protector of the Dharma, the righteous, who stretches all the, who stretched in all the directions and who is unlimited by time and space. Now, what happened? He disappeared at once. He protected Parikshit and he disappeared at once. So immediately what happened? All the good signs evolved, and the hire of Pandu, like Pandu, because who could be the exactly like him in prowess, took birth. Parikshit took birth now. The child born immediately. So thought the child, he thought, who has protected me from this dangerous astram? I was born because of karma vacham, karma, because of karma only we are all taking that. So I was born because of karma, and who has hugged me? Who has hugged me when I was in danger? See, thus the child saw everywhere, everywhere to see whether someone who is familiar there. I have seen somebody there inside the womb, whether I could see the same person there outside also. So that's what he got the name Parya Ikshada, Tasmat Parikshita. Means Parikshit, means he's searching, that the baby is searching everywhere. He is the only seed, he is the only seed left for both the Kuru Vamsam and Chandra Vamsam. Though hundreds of people existed once, when only Parikshit is left for doing the Mahalaya Tarpanam for everyone, for both the Vamsham, for both the progeny, So that is because why he is only left, why Parikshit is only left there. Everyone is gone because of Brahmana Sabam. This is a curse of Brahmin. What has happened? What has happened then? So the whole progeny got affected by the curse of a Brahmin. So we have to see what has happened. Why only Parikshit is left for this? See, once a battle occurred between Bhishmacharya and Parashurama. Bhishmacharya's guru is Parashurama. Parashurama is the guru of Bhishmacharya. So we have seen the charitram of Bhishmacharya. After Bhishmacharya took this Bhayankara Pratignya. Pratignya means promise, like lifelong celibacy. His father Shantanu, he got married. He got married to Satyavati. They have a son. They have a son called Vichitra Viryan. So since Bhishmacharya was a regent, means he's appointed as an administrator. He's appointed as an administrator and the protector of the throne of Hastinapuram. So he wanted his brother Vichitra Viryan to get married. So in the process of finding, a bride for his younger brother, like Vichitra Virya, son of Shantanu and Satyavati, Bhishma, he was searching for a bride for Vichitra Virya. In Kashi Desam, that is Varanasi, in the Varanasi, the king, he put a Swayamvaram. Swayamvaram means it's an assemblage. It's an assemblage of suitors, best suitors, at the Swayamvaram for their girls. There are 3 girls, Amba, Ambika and Ambalika. So this Bhishmacharya, he challenged the assemblage of suitors at the Swayamvaram of Princess Amba, Ambika and Ambalika of Kasi Desam, and defeated all of them. So when Bhishma because Bhishma was a great archer and a warrior of peerless valor and courage. So, but unknown to Bhishma, Salva, Salva and the ruler of Saubhala. Saubhala is a kingdom and Salva is a ruler of that kingdom, was in love with Amba. Amba is the eldest princess. So, who reciprocated his feelings. On the way to Hastinapura of the princess, they were coming in the chariot. Bhishmacharya is carrying all the princes in the chariot, and they were, after winning over all the princes, he was returning back to Hastinapura. But Bhishma was, confronted by Salva, who challenged him to a battle for the hand of Amba in marriage. But after a hard fight, a great fight, Salva was vanquished again. Salva was vanquished and admitted defeat. So upon reaching Hastinapuram, Amba now confided in Bhishma Acharya that she wished to marry Salva. And no other, and she wanted to marry only Salva, the king of Saubhala. So Bhishma, he said that, okay, I will send you back. So he sent back this Amba to Salvan, the king. So, but the vanquished king, isn't it? The vanquished ruler, but he was defeated in the battle. So what happened is, this vanquished ruler, he turned down in humiliation for losing the combat. So she came back again from Salvan and asked Vichitravirya now to marry. So upon being, turned down by Vichitravirya also, that is, Vichitravirya also refused to marry her, because saying that he loved another man. So I don't want to marry you. So Amba was incensed at Bhishma. That is, she got very angry. She was enraged at Bhishma. She thought that, it is whose interference. See, Bhishma's interference only, she she perceived as a root cause of all the troubles. She thought that, Bhishma Acharya was the root cause of all the troubles. Otherwise, she could marry Salvan. So it's Bhishma Acharya's fault. So she came to Bhishma and asked Bhishma Acharya to marry her, as she thought that he is the root cause of all her problems. But Bhishma Acharya refused. Bhishma refused, saying that he has taken a vow that he will not get married. So this Amba, what happened? She got angry and she took a refuge. She knew where to go. So she took a refuge with Parashurama. Parashurama is the guru of Bhishma Acharya, isn't it? So she got refuge to Parashurama. She thought that whatever Parashurama says, that Bhishma will agree. So she went to Parashurama for refuge, and she told all the story. So the guru of Bhishma Acharya, Parashurama, came to the kingdom now. So now what happened? Hearing that Parashurama was entering the kingdom of Hastinapuram, Bhishma Acharya went and received the great sage, with great respect, and did Pada Puja and everything. And after that, the Parashurama Acharya, he told Bhishma, you have to marry Amba, because all this has happened because of this, and you have to marry Amba. But Bhishma said, he politely refused, saying that he is ready to leave his body, at the command of the guru, but not the promise that he has made. So upon the refusal, Parashurama called him for a fight at Kurukshetra. Otherwise, you have to marry Amba, otherwise you have to we will fight, Okay. So the next morning at the battlegrounds, while Bhishma came ready, Bhishma is ready to, for the battle, and while Bhishma came ready to fight with his all chariot and armor, he saw that his guru was standing on the ground doing Sandhya Vandanam. So it's a great sight. It's a very divine sight. So Bhishma came down from the chariot and requested and prostrated before Parashurama and requested Parashurama to be equal to him by taking the chariot and armor, that is Kavacham. Armor means Kavacham. And Parashurama blessed Bhishma. Looked at his, he looked at his guru with a divine eyesight. Parashurama gave the divine eyesight to Bhishma. Now Bhishma looked at his guru at this divine eyesight. What he saw is the whole earth as Parashurama's chariot. The 4 Vedas, as the horses. The Upanishads are the Reen. Reen means a long narrow strap, attached to the end of the horse bit. Typically, used in the, used in pairs, both they used to, run the chariot with that rein. So used in pairs to guide or, check the horse while riding or driving the horse chariot. So he saw that the earth as a chariot for Parashurama, earth as a chariot, and the Vedas, 4 Vedas as horses, and the Upanishads as rein, and the Vayu himself as a Saradi, charioteer, and the Vedic goddesses, Gayatri, Savitri, and Saraswati as the armor. Such a great sight you can imagine. You can imagine such a good, great divine vision. You can imagine, like, it's like a huge ball. So Bhishma was, Bhishma got this blessing. Bhishma was blessed to see that great vision. So he got down from the chariot and, sought the blessings of Parashurama once again, to hear this, Parashurama told him that if he would not, if you would not have behaved in this manner, Parashurama would have cursed him. So Parashurama advised him to fight, to protect his dharma of brahmacharya, brahmachari. And the Parashurama would fight to protect his duty towards the word given to Amba. So thus, they fought for 23 days without any rest and without any result. They were fighting. For 23 days, the fight was going on. Parashurama, is a Chiranjeevi. Parashurama is immortal. So whereas Bhishma had the boon of death at his wish. So on the 22nd night, so Bhishma became tired. He was so tired. He was very, weary, and he prayed to the ancestors to show him a way, to help him, to bring the war to an end. So his ancestors, they gave him a clue, like they gave him a weapon called Kranjaligam. Like they said, if you chant the mantram, if you, if you chant the mantram of this weapon, the great Parashurama will be defeated. So in the morning, so Bhishma was also happy to know this mantram. And so in the morning, Bhishmacharya, as usual, he finished his Anushtanams and, he came to fight. He started chanting. He started chanting the mantram. But immediately all the devatas, all the demigods, all the devatas stopped him. No, please don't chant. Furthermore, don't chant this mantram. Saying that this weapon won't hurt Parashurama. It won't hurt, but make him to sleep. So please don't chant or call the weapon back. Okay, if a Brahmin like Parashurama, sleeps without doing his duties, when he was sleeping, you start sleeping day and night, he cannot do his Sandhya Vandanam or Anushtanams. So he'll be sleeping. So he couldn't do. So don't make him to sleep. Don't make him to sleep. So Bhishma stopped chanting this mantra. But as soon as he has started chanting, isn't it? So he has started chanting. So Parashurama, as soon as he started chanting the mantra, Parashurama became tired. He became tired and told him he won. Okay, you won. Okay, please stop that. I got defeated. You won. So Bhishma, prostrated before Parashurama, did all the first aid and everything. But still, as he made a Brahmin like Parashurama tired of doing his duty, the curse continued. See, that is how it is. The curse continued and destroyed the whole progeny, the Vamsh of Kuru Vamsham and Chandra Vamsham. So only because of Bhagavan, Parikshit was protected. Parikshit alone was protected by Bhagavan himself in order to make him to listen to this Bhagavat. It is a boon he has given. So Parashurama told Amba that he could not win over Bhishmacharya and gave her the boon of Shiva, Mahakal, Shiva, So Amba did penance to please Shiva, and Shiva came. Shiva gave the boon that she will be instrumental to the instrumental for the death of Bhishmacharya. So later, what happened? Later, Amba would be born as the princess in the house of King Drupada, and as a consequence of another boon would become transformed to a male person, Shikandi, and be the and be the root cause of Bhishma's death. So he is the one who witnessed the whole Mahabharatam, the Mahabharatam completely from the beginning, since the rule of Shantanu. So this is Ambo Bhagyanam. This is called Ambo Bhagyanam. See, hearing this Ambo Bhagyanam will give a lot of punyam to us. See, there are certain things written, prescribed by sages. Hearing those things will give us lot of punyams. It's adding our good things so that we can do further good things. See, that is how it is all prescribed. So now thus Parikshit was born with the Lord's help, and Maharaja Yudhishthira. Now Yudhishthira is seeing Parikshit, who was very, very satisfied with the birth of Parikshit. Now we got one more seed from the Pandava, from the dynasties. So he was so satisfied with the birth of Parikshit and did all the punyavajanam, like purificatory process of birth performed. So now Yudhishthira got worried also, because as he is the only child left for the whole Vamsham, so he inquired to great sages and saints and sages and astrologers, and see whether he will become as saintly as a king, as pious in his very name, and and as famous and glorified in the administration, in the achievements, and others who appointed as a great royal family. He's from a great royal family. So he wanted to check whether this Parikshit, the child born, is like that. So the Brahmana said, all the Brahmanas and all the astrologers there, he was checking that horoscope of Parikshit. See, they told the Brahmanas, and sages, they said, the child will be exactly like King Ishwahu, son of Manu, in maintaining all those who are born. And as for following the Brahminical principles, especially in being true to his promise, he shall be exactly like Rama, the Lord, the son of Dasharatha. The child will be, munificent donor of charity, charity, and protector of the surrendered, like the famous King Sibi Chakravarti. So he will expand the name and fame of the family like Bharatan, son of Dushyanta. So among the great bowmen, the child will be like Arjuna. The child will be like as strong as a lion, and as tolerant as earth. And he will be like his grandfather Yudhishthira or Brahmadeva. Yudhishthira or Brahmadeva in maintaining the equanimity, in showing equal thing, equanimity of mind. So he will be very generous. He will be a munificent like Lord Shiva, Parameshwara himself, and he will be the resort of everyone, like Sriman Narayana. So the child will be like Sri Krishna himself by following his footsteps. So in magnanimity, he will become like Ranti Devan. In religious, like Maharaja Yayati, and Mahabali in patience, Maharaja in patience, and like Prahalada. So the child will be the father of kings, who will be like sages. So they also said, they are predicting the future of Parikshit, and they are already, telling about his future to Yudhishthira. See how he will be. Like after hearing about his death, they are talking about Parikshit. After hearing about his death, which will be, caused by the bite of a snake, he will get himself freed from all the material attachments and surrender to the Lord, taking shelter, of him. They also said that he is going to hear Bhagavatam. He is going to hear the Bhagavad Gunam, Bhagavatam from Sri Shukar, son of, Vyasa himself. Vyasa himself, and will renounce all the material attachment. So after hearing everything from these sages and from all the saints and astrologers, King Yudhishthira, Maharaja Yudhishthira felt very happy. He felt very happy that his son, at last he was very happy at that point where his son at last will get to, hear Bhagavatam and will merge into the Lord. Because of all the things, that are coming in between, like a rainy season comes, a summer season comes, spring and everything comes. They are all avantaram, means they are all only temporary. The ultimate is something, the ultimate thing only speaks. All the middle things are only, only a temporary factor. So this is, when these are all happening, the Vidura, by this time, the Vidura was not present there because he was not present during the Kurukshetra war. He came back. He came to know all about, what happened in the battle. He heard about. He's a very great saint. Vidura is also a very great saint. He's a brother of Dhritarashtra and Pandu. And one night he came back to the kingdom. And one night, he went to see Dhritarashtra. Dhritarashtra was there, isn't it? So he's a father of, Dhritarashtra is a father of Kauravas. And he came, Vidura came to see Dhritarashtra. Vidura is a great sage. Saints and sages like Vidura, they approach. They always approach the foolish men to awaken them to the real situation, But, always, the foolish men, they take the sadhus and saints as only, a parasites to the society. Almost all of them, refuse to hear the words of sages and saints. Vidura now is not a sadhu who satisfies the ill-gotten sentiments of Dhritarashtra. He points out the real situation of life. So Vidura said to Dhritarashtra, you are just living like a dog, like a household dog, and eating the remnants of the food given by Bhima. Aho mahiyasi janto jivitaksha yato yata bhavan bhimapavarchidam pindam madatte grahapalavat. Vidura said, there is no need to live like a degraded life like this. You are such a person. See, he has done all the Panchamaha Patakam. Dhritarashtra has done all the Patakams, means all the Papams. Like, he says, you try to kill Pandavas by arson. Arson means deliberately setting fire. That is Arakamalihe. He set fire. He only approved. Dhritarashtra only approved. Duryodhana did, but Dhritarashtra approved. Dhritarashtra was a king by then, isn't it? So you did that. You set fire to Pandava's family, and you also insulted a daughter-in-law like Draupadi, disturbed her. Shameful action. How shameful you are. You supported the unserved their kingdom and wealth. So there are, you can see there are two classes of men. One is Kripana and another is Brahmana. Kripana is a miserly man. He has no estimation of his material body. He has no estimation for his material body. But the Brahmana has a true estimation of himself and the material body. The Kripana, having a wrong estimation of his material body, wants to enjoy always the sense gratification with his utmost strength. And even in the old age, he wanted to become young by doing all the medical treatment or otherwise, So Dhritarashtra was addressed here as Kripana, because without any estimation of his material body, he wants to live at any cost. That's why Vidura is saying that he is living a shameful life by eating, Bhima's food, the food given by Bhima. Bhima is the one who killed all the 100 children of Dhritarashtra. And in the Purana, Mahabharatam, Bhima used to say, how are you eating when all your 100 children are gone and this hand only killed Duryodhana, and now you are eating? And the Mahabharatam, it was told that Dhritarashtra never took his food. He just acted to show Yudhishthira that he has taken food. Now Vidura was telling here in Bhagavatam, Vidura is trying to open his eyes, to see that he cannot live more than his term and he must prepare for death. So Vidura is now opening his eyes. Vidura is a great sage here. There, somebody has to come because Dhritarashtra is okay, he's waiting. So, but Dhritarashtra here, he said, I don't know what to do. I have to live my life, so I am taking whatever they give. And I am here to take, but I don't want to do this. But I don't want to do this, but I don't know what to do. But the Vidura said here, no, leave this country. Come on, leave. Go to the north side where Ganges, flows immediately without letting all your relatives know, and shout for God's name. Hari, 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 Narayana. Shout. Come on, shout. This is your chance to shout, at least at this point of time, at this age, you shout at God's name. Take the God's name. Okay, go to the north. Don't tell all the relatives where you are going. Okay, don't let them know. So now Dhritarashtra was advised by Vidura, at least to know, at least to become a Dhiran, at least to become a Dhiran in the beginning, if it were impossible for him to become a sannyasi. So thus Vidura took along with him, took Dhritarashtra along with him in the midnight. In the midnight itself, they went towards north. Now a wonderful thing happened. Patim prayantam Subalasya putri pativrata chanu jagama sadhi. That is, Dhritarashtra is going, Dhritarashtra is going, Vidura is going. Vyasa was surprised to say this Gandhari, with a wife of, King Dhritarashtra. Dhritarashtra's wife is Gandhari, who is so ideal as a devoted wife to her husband, followed her husband, Seeing that he was going to the Himalayas, Himalayan, mountains, she's a great pativrata. Gandharim Dharma Darshini. Because if someone gets doubt in Dharma, including Vyasa Bhagavan, they go to Gandhari. They used to ask Gandhari. See, in the court also, in the big court, even Lord Krishna asked Gandhari about Dharma. Gandhari said, if one gets wealth through unrighteousness, then those wealth never goes to their heirs. The grandson or the son or the grandson, they can't, get the wealth. So they said the wealth should be, you have to get the wealth in a very honest way. Such a kind of pativrata she is. She followed her husband to Himalayas. They went to Himalayas and left their material body after doing Bhagavad Bhakti. They got moksha. So now what happened in the morning? Next slokam is Ajada Chatru. Ajada Chatru means, Ajada Chatru is a name of Yudhishthira, Dharmaputra. It's a beautiful, Ajada Chatru is a very beautiful name. That is, whose enemy was never born. He doesn't have any enemy at all, and whose enemy was never born. That's called Ajada Chatru. He performed. Now, in the morning, that is Yudhishthira, he performed his daily duties, like, praying and fire sacrifices, Yaham and Yajnam and sun god, praying to sun god and all. And he always go to Dhritarashtra's room and, he prostrate before Dhritarashtra because this is his uncle. This is a daily routine of Yudhishthira. Now he entered the palace of Dhritarashtra to pay respects to the elderly there. However, he could not see there. He could not find him, his uncle or aunt or anybody there. So Yudhishthira, he felt very, full of anxiety. He got full of anxiety. Turned to Sanjaya. Sanjaya was sitting there. Sanjayan was sitting there, and he asked, "Oh Sanjaya, where is our uncle? Where is our uncle? He is already old. He is already old. He is also blind." So he is asking. He asked about Vidura also. Where is he gone? Yesterday only he came. Now he is gone. Where are they? So he was so worried. Sanjayan also said that I don't know. I was not sleeping, but I don't know. He also got worried. But by that time, sage Narada came. Narada Maharishi, he came there at the time. He appeared. Like Yudhishthira said, oh, he prostrated before Narada, and Yudhishthira said, oh sage, I do not know where my two uncles have gone. Nor can I find any, my aunt also here, Gandhari, she has also gone. So I am very, she's already grief stricken by, by the loss of all of her sons. So hearing that, Narada, Devarishi Narada began to speak. Yudhishthira, do not lament, okay? Do not lament for anyone, for everyone is under the control of the Supreme Lord. So therefore give up the anxiety due to ignorance of the self. So don't lament, okay? God knows. It's under the control of God, and don't lament. So your uncle Dhritarashtra, his brother Vidura, and his wife Gandhari have gone to the southern side of Himalayas, where there are sages, where there are shelters of great sages. So they will quit the body. Dhritarashtra is going to quit his body most probably on the 5th day from today. So, and his body will be turned into ashes. His chaste wife will burn in the fire of the mystic power of the, mystic power with rapt attention. So Vidura being affected, with delight and grief, will then leave that place of sacred pilgrimage. He's going for a pilgrimage. So don't lament. Kali is going to come now. So now that's why everything is happening like this. So Kali is going to come. So prepare yourself also. You also prepare yourself to leave this place. Come on. So thus said, Narada said this, and he ascended. So Yudhishthira also felt that Kali has come, because a case came to his court itself. See, actually one person sold his land to another person. The person purchased the land, found a treasure inside the land. So he asked the other person who sold the land to take away the treasure, as he has bought only the land and not the treasure. He told that he has paid only for the land and not for the treasure. But the other person, who sold the land, said he doesn't know that there was a treasure inside the land. So the land along with the treasure belongs to the person purchased only. See, this is how it was there in Yudhishthira's period. This is how the honesty, the dharmam was there in Yudhishthira's period. Yudhishthira Maharaja, he inquired the case and asked him to come back the next day. So the next day they came, but with a different intention. See, at that time the Kali has come. So the person sold the land told, yes, now I understand. The treasure belongs to me only, because I have sold only the land to him, but the person purchased the land told that no, that's not the case. Once the land is sold, whatever inside the land belongs to the person purchased. So the treasure also belongs to me only. See, only so so now Yudhishthira understood Kali has come, because the mind gets adulterated so easily. Mind get confused becomes wicked, becomes adulterated, becomes cunning so easily because of Kali. So he thought that we should not be here. Okay. So this is the time we should also leave. We have to leave this place. See, during this time, Arjuna was not there. So Arjuna has gone to Dwaraka to see Lord Krishna there. So he came back after seeing Lord Krishna, after his visit to Dwaraka, he came back, Arjuna came back. But when he came back from the Dwaraka, he was completely grief-stricken. He is not like Arjuna. The tejas is gone. The glow. Arjuna is a great warrior, isn't it? So his entire tejas is gone. He was coming like that. He was coming. Yudhishthira, Maharaja Yudhishthira saw Arjuna. He said, "Is something wrong? Why are you like this? I have never seen in my life." Like Arjuna means it's a great valor, he's a great, the glowing beauty and everything. But I am not seeing anything. See, is there something wrong? Did you do anything wrong? Did you some dharma? Did you do something wrong? Which is not good? See, it's not good to see you. There is no dharma in your face. At that time, Arjuna cried. Arjuna, he called Yudhishthira. Oh, Maharaja, the Supreme Personality, the Lord Krishna, the Supreme Soul, who treated me exactly like an intimate friend, has left me alone. He has gone. Lord Krishna has gone. Thus my, astounding power, which astonished even the demigods. That is, it's no longer with me. It's no longer, everything is gone. All my tejas have gone. Because, Lord Krishna, because of Lord Krishna, him alone, we could gain the, valuable hands of Draupadi. Because of him alone, it is possible to conquer the powerful king of Devan, Indran, heaven, that is Indran. Because of him alone, I could able to, I could enable the fire god, to devastate the Khandava Vanam, Khandava forest. And because of him alone, we could build a beautiful Indraprastha where Rajasuya Yajnam was performed. And because of him alone, Bhima destroyed Jarasandha. And because of him alone, only we saved, we got saved by a great rishi called, Durvasa. Durvasa is very angry rishi, and because of him alone, we got saved. And because of him alone, I got the Pasupatashram. That Prabhu, that Lord, who helped in Virata Parvam, that Lord who helped in winning the battle against Gauravas, he left us all alone, and went to Vaikundam. When I was returning from Dwaraka after, Krishna gone to Vaikundam, all the cowherd boys, all the gopas, they beat me. They said, "Where is Krishna? Now Krishna is gone. Don't just brag yourself." But I couldn't beat them. In turn, I couldn't beat them in turn. I don't know what to do. All my strength, all my mightiness, everything is gone. Okay. His jokings, he's telling Yudhishthira his jokings, his, frank talks were pleasing and beautifully decorated with smiles, and his address, his address unto me as like, "Hey Partha, hey Arjuna, hey Kurunandana, hey friend, hey Saka." See, all I are now remembered by me, and I'm overwhelmed. Generally, both of them, this Krishna and Arjuna, live together, sleep together, sit together, loiter together. Arjuna used to say, Krishna used to, "Why are you just lazy? Why are you sitting lazy? Can't you help me in putting all the banyan leaves for eating? Banana leaves for eating. Everything goes to your plate only. I'm not getting anything. See, nothing is left for nobody. Nothing is left, and you always eat everything. You always tell lie, and people call you Satyavratan." I used to mock him. I used to mock him by walking like him, joke like Joe. I used to joke him, asking to leave the chariot, because there is no place for me. If you stand there, that's no place for me. Even in those hours when his values are minimized, he being the supreme soul, he used to tolerate all these utterings of mine, excusing me, exactly as a true friend excuses his friend, exactly as a father excuses his son. So he is gone now. He is not with us, and we should not be here. We don't want this kingdom. Come on, we don't want this kingdom. Bhagavan is gone. He has gone to Vaikundam. So power of God, power of God is gone. Now we are useless without the power of God. So whatever we do, we have to understand from that, whatever we do, we have to get the power of God without the power of God, even studying, even sleeping. So because before sleep or after sleep, see, everything we have to take the name of God. Otherwise we become useless. So now we are useless. So without the power of God, so we have to go. So the Pandavas started their Mahaprasthanam. So it's called, one parva is called Mahaprasthanam. Another parva is called Surgaroganam. Both combined, is 18th parva of Mahabharata. So what happened? These Pandavas, they circumambulated the earth and started towards north, walking towards north to heaven. So they won't look back to to return to the south side. But a surprise happened. When all the Pandavas, they were walking towards north, a dog also went along with them, went along with Pandavas towards north. So thus they started to go to Swargam, heaven, by walking northwards of Himalayas. See, at that time, what happened? Sahadevan shouted, saying Draupadi is falling behind, falling down. She can't come to Swargam. Yudhishthira said, don't look back. She has insulted great souls like Bhishma and Dronacharya during Vastra Apaharana in the court. So she is falling down. After that, Nakulan said, Sahadevan is falling. So Yudhishthira said, Sahadev always brags about his knowledge. And so he is falling down. Now, after some time, Arjuna started. Arjuna shouted, Nakulan is falling down. He said that Nakulan is always proud of his beauty. So now he is falling down. So don't look back. After some time, Bhima shouted, Arjuna is falling down. He said Arjuna criticized even his guru Dronacharya. So you don't look back. After some time, Bhima himself, he screamed, he shouted, oh brother, I am falling down. You always brag about your strength. You always eat too much. Eating too much is also a pavam. So you eat too much. So that is why you are falling down. See, at last, what happened? Dharmaputra, Yudhishthira entered the Swargam. There in the Swargam, in the heaven, Devarishi Narad and all the Devas, including Indran, Devendran is the king of all the Devas, isn't it? They all welcomed Yudhishthira. They all welcomed Yudhishthira inside the heaven. They all said that we have not seen anybody entering the heaven with their body. That is Pragrada Shariram, mortal body. So welcome, Maharaja Yudhishthira, welcome. Get inside this Pushpaka Vimana. Yudhishthira said, my brothers, my wife, everyone left me. But I could see, this dog is always coming along with me. Everybody left. So you have to allow this dog to enter the Pushpaka Vimana as well. So, but Devendra said, no pets are allowed, no dogs. No, they are not allowed. You can't take a dog inside the Pushpaka Vimana and get it to heaven. That's not possible. Then Yudhishthira said, if the dog is not allowed, then I'm also not coming, entering. Then the dog entered, but the dog was not there. Instead of this dog, Dharma Devati was there with her 4 hands. She said, oh Yudhishthira, you are Dharmaputran. You are the embodiment of Dharma. Your personality, Dharma. Dharma means Dharmam. It's a Dharma. So I am coming. I'm always with you. I am a slave like a dog for you. And you are my master. So dharma will always save us like that. There is a thing called Kaadu Nadu Tedinum, Ani Senai Tedinum, Kodi Vasi Tedinum, Kurka Vandu Nirkumo, Odiitta Pichayum, Ugandu Seida Dharmamum, Tadivitta Kudirai Pol, Dharmam Vandu Nirkume. This is a Siva Vakya, you know. A great sage has said this. Like he says, whatever you do, whatever you earn, or whatever you save in this world, you know, like land or elephant or mighty army or kingdom or anything, it's not going to come with you along to Paralogam. When you are gone, when you leave this body, it's not coming to come with you. But if you do a small charity, like if you put a penny to a beggar, then that dharma counts. That will come along with you. That is called dharma. So thus Yudhishthira entered Swargalogam. But he saw Duryodhana sitting there in Swargam, heaven. You know, he asked, where is Karnan? Where is Bhiman? Where is Arjuna? Where is Nakula? Where is Sahadeva? Where is Panchali? Draupadi? Indra said they are all in Naragalogam. They are all in hell. What? Is this the way the judgment is here? So I don't want to be here. I want to go to that hell where my brothers and, you know, where my wife is there. I want to go there. So suddenly what happened? It becomes dark. It became dark there. All he could see a lot of scorpions and, you know, centipedes and snakes there. He was so confused. So he closed and opened his eyes. Dharmaputra, he closed and opened his eyes. He saw Indra. He saw Arjuna, Bhima, Karnan, everyone there. So Indra said, Duryodhana has done some little punyam, an ayata of punyam. So he stayed here for that period. And your brothers have done little papam. So they stayed there in the hell. And you also, you know, because of Krishna only he did that, you know, he told that lie. You also told one lie. Like, you know, Ashwatthama Atha Kunchara. You never told any lie, but because of Krishna only you told, but that is also a papam. So, you saw a Maya Narakam for a second. So, thus Pandavas entered the Swargam. This is called the Swargarogana Parva. See, that we have to say along with that. So, I included this. This is because the departure of the son of Pandus for the ultimate goal of life, you know, back to the Lord, you know, back to the Lord is fully auspicious. Hearing this is fully auspicious and is very, very perfectly pure. So therefore, anyone who hears this narration with devotional faith, you know, certainly gains the devotional services to the Lord. Certainly gains the devotional services of the Lord and certainly gains, you know, the highest perfection of life. So by the hearing process of Srimad Bhagavatam itself, one can attain the life, you know, perfection of life. One can attain the perfection of life and merge with the Supreme Lord. This is how it is said. So we'll close this session with that. And next session, we can see that Parikshit, how Parikshit is getting cursed and everything. We'll close this session. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vasishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Thank you all. Thank you. So we'll see you in the next session. Thank you.
Dhanyawad Ram Ram.
Thank you. Bye.